Pick up your microphone.
If a tree... Wow, that was very bossy. Yeah.
Sorry.
I can.
It's the podcast producer in me. I can't.
I
help
can
it.
see why Joel looks like he's aged a lot.
Oh, ouchies.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Edit out.
So the if a tree falls in the woods and there's no one around to hear it, did it really fall? Did it make a sound?
Yes.
Really?
Absolutely.
Did you pregame at all?
Like an hour ago, I had a drink and I got on a call,
Okay.
and I've been on the phone nonstop.
Okay.
We did only have one drink, so we're actually.
I had like 1.5.
Yeah.
But I bought, which by the way is totally against what we said we were going to do.
I
We
know.
said we're going to pregame for like an hour.
I know.
Well, I know. But you also said you were going to send us a bottle of wine.
I did.
Yeah.
But in all fairness,
And-
we should be sending him a bottle of wine.
True.
Yeah, but I
True.
committed to doing it. I'm like
True.
I'm maybe one of the worst friends someone can have.
Don't.
No.
No.
Listen, there's a reason I bought 2 bottles of wine.
Because we're gonna do a taste test.
Side by
side-by-side.
side. Yes.
Yeah.
Side by side. And first of all, I want to apologize to both of your husbands. Both of them, and preemptively.
Because things are
Uh-oh.
about to get crazy.
Because sometimes when you do a side by side with 2 women, 2 wines, you can say crazy things.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
And I'm not apologizing for saying the crazy things. I'm apologizing because when you go home, you're going to be like, why can't you be more like Eric? Hold on, you've not let me tell you about the 2 bottles of wine I brought with me.
Yes,
Should
yes.
we wait?
Do-
should we
do
say
tell.
who we're talking to?
Oh yeah.
This
Oh,
is
this is really
Eric Swider,
okay, so this
part
is-
two.
Part 2. This is a very exciting episode, especially for me, because the last episode
Hold on, don't say anything. There's a reason why.
Did you bring
Oh.
your own wine opener?
Because, yes, I did.
Oh, my
I
God.
travel with it.
Okay.
I have a good
Listen,
one.
I think you should do this Quentin Tarantino style.
Really?
You release the second podcast first, and there will be things that don't make sense until you see the first podcast. Think or hear the first podcast. Think about
I
that.
kind of
This is-
like it.
So
Huh?
this is
I kind of like it.
Yeah.
that so they can understand why Becky's not talking. like-
Exactly. Like, Becky, why weren't you
why
talking?
why did I only say 3 words? On the
Right.
last
Why were you
episode
so
with Eric?
quiet the entire first podcast?
Well, there was a little.
See, but Quentin Tarantino style, you can't
you
tell him
can't talk
now.
about
Did we
it.
talk about it on the first episode?
Yes.
I don't know
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I
Yes.
wasn't really there.
Yes, we talked about it. We 100% talked about
Yeah,
it.
we did.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right.
Yeah.
Alright.
So yeah, we can't talk about that per
Right.
JLD's rules.
Oh yeah, you can't
Which
say it
I
on
mean,
more than one
you
episode.
have to you have to listen to all of our episodes to
Oh.
understand the rules.
The rules.
as they are developed for this podcast.
All right. Well, I got to tell you about why I bought these 2 wines. It's not
Okay.
just so we can taste them, because it's not about is this one better than the other.
Okay,
Okay.
what's it about?
This is an Italian old world wine. It's a 2018. It's a Chianti.
Yes.
It's actually from one of my more favorite winemakers in Tuscany. This one right here, candidly, I've not had it before, but it's a New York wine.
Oh.
It's a cab. I mean, not a New York. I'm sorry, a California cab.
Okay. I was like New York.
Yeah, but here's a reason why these two wines. So, as you probably know, an Italian wine has a little bit more minerality to it. It's a little bit more tannin. Takes a little bit longer to open up. It's usually going to be fruit neutral, fruit backwards, where the California is going to be a little bit more fruit forward. Probably a little bit bolder, a little bit less on the tannin. And so I'm going to be asking the 2 of you some questions.
We're being tested.
Oh, this is interesting.
If you listen to the first episode, you'll know why. Right? Remember?
Well, I won't because I don't.
You won't.
I won't.
You won't, no. And then we're going to determine who's more like the Italian wine and who is more like the California wine.
Okay.
I totally dig this.
I love it. I love it.
Because as you drink, especially the California wine, you're going to see as it opens up, it completely changes over time. Right?
Okay. Yeah.
yeah.
So we're going to just kind of take a snapshot in time right now
Okay.
and remember how everybody is our personalities, our conversations.
Yeah.
And then as we open up
Ooh.
and we get
This
a
is
little bit
so
better,
good.
I'm already excited for this journey.
Me
You
too.
see?
So
that's why the
excited.
2 wines.
Okay. Okay. So
Okay.
do you want us to like not watch you pour?
No, you can definitely know which one it is.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Tell me how this sounds.
What does that sound like? Mm.
It's actually not.
Ooh,
Ooh,
that's
that
a good
sounded
sound.
so
Is that cool?
That was a good sound.
Actually,
Yeah.
you know what? I'm sorry. I hate to do this, but we're going to have to dirty up more wine glasses.
I know. I
That's
had
the-
a feeling
yeah.
you did not want those.
Well, it's because the glasses have to be similar.
I had
Yeah.
a feeling.
I know.
Dirty away. Yeah.
Wait, just to be clear, I actually really like these. These are really cool.
Aren't they?
Yeah.
And they're great for like around
The-
Palmas.
that's exactly right. Yeah.
Yeah.
The roadie, the Palmas roadie.
Yeah.
Palmas
Which,
Roadie.
100%.
oh my God, should we add that to the bingo list?
Palmas Roadie.
Palmas Roadie.
Do you know why you call this a side by side? And you can do side by side by side by side as many glasses as you want. It's a particular way of drinking a wine. So typically, when you go to a dinner, people will order wine in the order of the courses, the appetizer,
Yeah.
the fish, right, et cetera, et cetera.
Lightest to darkest.
But the
Or
essentially,
lightest to boldest.
yeah. So another way to do it is just put them all on the table, pour them all at once, and take a sip of whatever wine you want based on what you're chewing at the time,
Oh.
or whatever you're feeling.
Oh. I
Yeah.
dig that.
So side by side by side.
I'm always feeling Italian wine.
You are.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I'm
well,
always feeling Spanish wine, but
I'm always feeling
but
Spanish wine as
Italian-
well.
Spanish wine holds a special place in my heart.
So
Right,
I'll
so-
tell you something.
Hold on. Not to interrupt. I know I should not interrupt the producer. But it's important that whatever one you taste first, you remember the essence, remember the taste,
Oh, yeah,
remember
sure.
the sip.
Got it.
Definitely. Do you
Okay?
want, do we
So
need
you know
to-
what? Let's do this just to be clear about it. Let's start with the California one.
I already tasted Italy.
Okay, let's start with Italy.
Oh. Okay.
Sorry.
That's okay.
Okay.
So if you notice, the aftertaste, you're getting it kind of in the center of your tongue. That's not in the
Yeah.
back. Like you're not feeling acid in the back. You're not feeling
Yeah.
sweet sugar in the front.
Yeah.
It's because it's a balanced mineral wine. So that's a minerality. It's a balanced wine. It's hitting right in the middle of your palate.
Yep.
And if you, when you taste the California wine next, you'll notice that the Italian tastes more balanced. And when I say balanced, balance doesn't mean you don't taste it. It means it's a balance of the sugars and the tannins, right? And so now taste the California.
Oh my gosh.
You see the difference?
Yeah, huge difference.
Yeah.
That's on the back. The
Yeah,
back
which
of
is
the-
odd because usually
Rainbow.
California is very
Oh, yeah.
fruit forward. Okay, so take a sip of the water. Okay. See, I would have to, for me, I'm tasting it more on the, not on the tip of my tongue, but just a little bit further forward.
the fruit.
Because California it tends to be more oaky, more fruity, more sweet.
This is definitely more fruity.
Right. So you see this is a more fruity. You kind of always, like a decent cab, you're going to
I
know
think
where
you
you
just
are.
taught me something.
What's that?
I don't think I ever knew. But so, like, you're saying, like, fruit forward. It's because you're tasting it in the front of your tongue.
That's right. Yeah.
Or, like, the front of your mouth.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
the sugars. The
I
fruit.
don't know why I thought
Yeah.
that fruit forward meant that it was, like, the fruit was, like, the more overwhelming.
The interesting thing about this is when I tried it before I cleansed my palate, I felt it on the back, way in back.
Yeah, because what you're doing is you're. I mean, I hate to say this. You're almost cleansing your tongue or your palate with the California wine. So
Yeah.
you're mixing and blending inside
Yeah.
your mouth,
Yeah.
and so it's going to hit your palate completely
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
So
Interesting.
okay, so you understand now the subtle, not so subtle differences between California and Italy, right? Okay, now keep that in mind,
Yes.
and then as we go forward, we're not going to just remember the differences, but how they open up differently.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
that way we know which is Becs and which is Erin.
Oh my God.
Are we going to be
You
the
see there?
same or different?
I think we're gonna be the same.
I think we will, too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because we tend to win this.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah,
Well,
we
we're
do.
going to find out.
Yep.
Okay.
I
yeah,
like-
but
I
that's
like this
that's for a
experiment.
later. That's for a later part.
Okay.
Yeah. So we've decided that, well, they'll find out in part 2 with Eric Swider, right?
Yeah.
And then after that, I think we'll have you interview us.
Oh no, I'm doing that tonight. Oh, you know what? I forgot to tell you. on the way over, Alicia wanted me to bring up that you have to let her know when to come on because she really wants to come on.
Oh,
yes,
yeah.
100%.
Yeah, that we would absolutely love that. Oh,
Yeah, we know.
I believe that.
Oh my gosh. Wow. She said, I want to do the podcast and I want them to tell me who's a better guest.
Oh,
Yeah.
we would
Yeah.
love that. Yeah.
For sure she would be the better one.
Okay.
You should do half the show with her alone and then I'll come in and we'll do the newlywed.
Oh, we could do that.
Oh my God, did you hear what
That would
happened?
be really fun.
Did you hear what happened at the at her what's it called when you're oh my God. Baby shower. Did you hear what happened at the baby shower?
No.
With the
No.
dunk tank?
What?
Her baby shower?
Yeah, her baby shower.
No.
Well, for Aria, for our
Yeah,
daughter
yeah,
Aria.
yeah.
So they had me on the dunk tank,
Oh, God.
and then they would ask me questions about Alicia.
And you had to answer it
And I had
right,
to answer.
otherwise you got dunked?
Right.
How many times did you go in?
So they asked, I think, 10 questions.
Yeah.
How many do you think I got right out of 10?
2.
1.
0. 0.
Oh, Swider.
Not one.
Were the questions difficult?
Oh, it was stuff like what's your wife's last name? What's your wife's birthday? I think her birthday was one of them.
It's funny.
Yeah, it was bad. I think I may have gotten one right. I think they asked me her middle name, and I know she doesn't have a middle name.
Oh.
Yeah, well, she does now. It's Kid
Oh.
because she took her last name,
yeah.
made it middle. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
Sure.
Although I'm suspect about that. She says she did. I don't know if she officially did it. I think she's trying to get some brownie points.
Right.
But I'd
Right.
like to see the proof. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you haven't seen her actual like passport or ID
No.
that says
No.
Swider.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. In fact, I'm still thinking I should probably go try to find the marriage certificate, make sure it was signed. You know what I mean?
See if it's actually
Yeah.
legit.
Yeah, because she seems awfully comfortable at home. Like I ain't worried about this. I got an escape hatch anytime I want. You know what I mean? Anyway.
Oh,
Which is funny because we did just have a big party and I literally thought I came home with, or the next day when we were cleaning up, I thought I had your hat, shoes, and shirt.
Yeah.
And then I found out it was really just your hat. Somebody else's shoes and somebody else's shirt.
Yeah.
So there were at least 3 men that night that went home without articles of clothing.
I'm surprised it was only 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
But
am
yeah,
too.
my shirt and my shoes and socks are still in the back of my car.
Okay. And just to be clear, there was no like nudity at this party. It was everybody went in.
Why did you feel like
clothed.
you had to put a disclaimer on
Because
that?
I just felt like, I don't know, people could be thinking that like we were skinny dipping or we were good kids.
I mean, we're all. It's not like if you were skinny dipping, you were doing something wrong.
True.
Just a note, even if, in his perspective, even if we went skinny dipping, we're still the good kids.
100%. Yeah, because like for example, like maybe I just didn't want to get my suit wet, and I just didn't have boxers on, for example.
Yeah.
Now it might be awkward.
Hey, you know what? It's okay as long as it's a clean dick wiggling.
There you go. Now let me say, you know what? You know what? I wonder if there's an age
Oh my
limit.
God, I forgot that one.
Oh, is that like an actual punchline? I've never heard of
Wasn't
this.
there a conversation about this that night? A clean dick wiggling?
Yeah, that was your phrase that you came up with, and you were like, "It's okay, it's clean dick wiggling."
I said that.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh! Wow!
It's good as long as it's a clean dick wiggling.
Oh wow! You know, I was just thinking. I wonder if there's a certain age where it's okay to skinny dip up to this age, right? So, for example, if you see 6 college kids skinny dipping in the ocean, you ain't think nothing of it, right? They didn't want to get the clothes wet. Like, who cares? Whatever. Doesn't mean they're doing anything wrong or whatever. They could just
Right.
be friends. Like when you get 50 or 60, is it like, hey, that's just weird? Like, just don't go skinny dipping. Like, have some self-control.
I have never skinny dipped.
I have.
You've never skinny dipped.
No,
Wow.
I know. I'm actually a kind of a little
Goody
kind of a
two
shoes.
shoes.
In fact, that
But
was
let me ask you, but why is it a bad thing to skinny dip? It doesn't mean you're like having an orgy or doing anything with anybody.
No, it just I don't know. Well, public nudity is not.
It's
Why is that to be in
illegal.
public?
It's okay.
Oh, true. That wasn't in
true
public.
Enough, true enough.
That wasn't
enough.
in public.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
I don't know. It
Private property.
I mean, if you have a pool in your backyard, what's wrong if you go skinny dipping?
You have to show off my private property.
Exactly. As long as you keep your private property on your private property. What a strange concept behind that. Skinny dipping. That entire concept. Like, there's got to be so many rules around it. Like, if you really want to break it down. Like, obviously, shouldn't be skinny dipping in the middle of the day on a public beach.
Yeah.
Right?
True.
Yeah.
Skinny dipping in your own pool in the backyard, sure. But if you're over or under any age, like, why would you skinny dip in your own yard? Just go put on your swimsuit.
Oh, but I had a hot tub, and I pretty much never went in with a swimsuit.
Okay, but is a hot tub considered skinny dipping versus a pool? Now, let me ask you this. If you're in your backyard, you're cutting the grass, you're hot, sweaty, you get stung by a bunch of bees, is it okay to strip your clothes off and jump in the pool?
Yes.
You're in your backyard.
This
Right?
is an emergency.
You're in your backyard. It's an emergency,
Yes.
right?
It's your yard.
So if you think about this concept, should there be a written rule book of when it's okay to skinny dip?
I knew this was going to be a good episode.
Wow.
No, I'm serious.
No,
I mean, think about it. Think about that concept.
I mean, there
when is it
definitely.
okay to skinny dip?
I think there are rules. Like, what
Yeah.
if that happened during a family reunion?
There you go.
There you go.
Perfect example. Thank you.
Probably not acceptable.
Probably not acceptable. So if you're cutting your yard, getting stung by a bee alone in your backyard, is it okay to strip your clothes off and jump in the pool?
Yeah.
Perfectly okay skinny
You
dipping.
might need
Are
to
we
post a poll.
Are we going to write a book about this?
Yeah, because now think about this. If you're at a friend's home who's hosting a birthday party for the neighborhood kids and you get stung by a bunch of bees, is it okay to strip down
No.
and jump in the pool and skinny dip?
No, because
Exactly
it's because
right.
it's society.
Right. Well, listen, I don't have to, I clearly understand why it's not okay to skinny dip in front of the kids.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
that's
I'm just
Yeah,
making
yeah,
the
yeah.
point.
You can't do that.
Yeah.
No,
No.
I'm just making the point. But I'll bet if you wrote a book on the rules of skinny dipping and equated to the rules of life, I'll bet you it would be a bestseller.
I am writing that down because I am learning that I actually enjoy writing books now.
With the assistance of ChatGPT.
Oh, with the assistants, absolutely. Okay, so skinny dipping.
Skinny dipping through life.
Skinny dipping through life?
Skinny dipping through life.
Yeah.
Crushed it.
I love it.
That's I have that trademark registered already.
Yeah, you guys can't have it. We
Yeah.
got it.
If you decide to do this book, would
Yeah.
you at least mention me in it in the prologue?
Yeah,
A million
of course,
%.
of course.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
Excellent.
mean, maybe you could like write the foreword or something.
Ooh, dig that.
Take that, yeah.
Yeah,
Perfect.
So this is interesting when I'm doing this thing that I normally do, and because you kind of told us with doing this side by side, just drink whatever you feel.
Yeah.
And so far, like I really like the Italian wine a lot more than the California wine. I actually rarely like California wines.
Yeah.
Same.
And so it's like I'm drinking this because I want to get rid of it so then I can just
Oh, wow.
drink the Italian.
Really?
And that's it's like
Well,
save
just
the
so you
best
know-
for last kind of thing.
Just so you don't, there's no rule that says you have to drink the California at all. As a matter of fact, if you don't like it, it's better not to like it because that tells everyone else what your personality brought you to. Like, had you not just said that, we would have thought, wow, she really liked that California.
That's funny because I was thinking that. I was like, wow, you were drinking that one
Yeah.
really fast. Where I'm like, I don't really want to drink it.
Like I don't really care for the more fruity wines. Like I feel like the Italian wine has so many more flavors in it.
Much more complex.
It's,
yeah.
it's very complex,
Yeah.
and I like that.
Yeah.
Do you remember when you brought a wine over here for it might have been Joel's birthday last year.
Yeah.
And we opened it, and when I tasted it, I was like, oh my God, I've just completely been transported to Italy. Like
Oh, that's awesome.
it was like I took a drink of it,
Yeah.
and I think
Do you remember which one it was? Was it
a Brunello, I think.
Barolo or Brunello?
Oh, it
was
might
a
have been
Yeah,
Barolo?
it was. I think it was a Barolo. Yeah, yeah.
If I
Yeah.
gave you a bottle of Barolo, if it was a Roagna Pura, let me tell you something. That means I think the world of you.
That sounds about right.
That Roagna Pura,
I think that's
That tracks.
That's how it does.
it's
Yeah.
really, really hard for me to find a bottle of wine I like more than that. And let me tell you how regrettably I found that out. So this was like 2 years ago in San Juan at Bottles, going there for business meetings quite a bit. And they had this Roagna, the Pura Barolo. I'd never heard of it before. I went and I grabbed a bottle. It was a little pricey. It was like $135. was like, I wanted something new. So I opened it, drank it. It was so delicious. I mean, it was so amazing. I think I ordered another one and bought another one home. And so I drank that one a couple days later at home, and I was like, wow, this is so amazing. I'm going to go back and get more. So I went back. I got another 2 or 3 bottles. I saw that they had a couple more bottles on the shelf. I said, I'll come back at some other point and get more. So I come back to the restaurant. Oh, no. Then we went to Italy. I go to Italy, and I'm thinking about this Barolo Pure. And at the time, I was drinking the 2016s. $130 a bottle, call it. Mm-hmm. And we go to Tuscany. I'm like, wait a second, there's an Italian wine. I should be able to get it for like 50 over here. Mm-hmm. So I come back to the States, go to the restaurant, try to buy the bottles they have left.
Gone.
They marked up to $240.
Oh. What happened?
I'm going to tell you in a second. So I grabbed the last couple bottles they had. Think they're going to restock. I come back later. No Barolo Pira. So I start doing some research. It turns out this Barolo Pira by Roagna, it just happens to be one of the top 5 Barolos out there. But the 2016 was just like the year. And so I just happened to love it because it was this great wine. And literally, it was down to the last cases that you could buy it literally anywhere.
Wow.
And I'm just drinking it like it was going out of style. I'm just buying bottles and blah, blah, blah. Right?
Yeah. Thinking no big deal because it was $50 a bottle.
But I didn't even figure that out
$135
until the 17s came out. So then I start drinking the 17s, and the 17s go up to $240 a bottle. And I realized, oh, my God, this is actually a special wine. You're not supposed to be drinking it by the case. So recently, the 2017s, I've been buying, oddly enough, Gordon's Fine Liquor in Boston had a bunch of it scattered around the state. So I bought everything I could find in the state and told my daughter to go pick it up for me. Do you know why?
Fly it down here.
Do you know why? Because Gordon's did a pricing mistake and cut the bottle down to $103.
Stop.
And so I bought it all.
Wow.
Yeah. And she's in one of the stores, and the guy was like, I could hear on speakerphone. And he's like, I can't sell you this wine. This is below our cost. And long story short, I get him on the phone. I'm like, listen, I'm sorry it's below your cost, but pull your website up. That's what it's there for. That's why I went online and paid for it. So I want all the bottles you have. The guy was very nice.
Oh.
Gave them to me. So I have a bunch of it sitting in Boston.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure
And the
they weren't happy
17
about
is
that.
Just as good? Or not quite as good?
Very little difference between the two, especially when you're not drinking them side by side. When they're not side by side, indistinguishable. Just an amazing, amazing bottle of wine. I want to be an investor in wine, so I figured the best way to do it initially is just to work with Anthony. So I'm just supporting his endeavors. So I don't want to mislead, I'm in the wine industry. Anthony keeps telling me I am. He keeps telling me, oh, it's too late. You already are. I have a fascinating way of denying things to myself. So I'm excited to see, is there a way that I can get into the wine industry and actually make money?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hell yeah.
And I don't need to make money as in this is a business or a living, but just where I'm not drinking a $200 bottle of wine twice a day and having an expensive drinking habit, not a collector.
Would you say that Italian wine is your favorite?
So it's so funny. If you'd asked me that question 2 years ago, I'd say no way, California. If you asked me that question a year ago, I would have said absolutely. You asked me that question today, now that I've learned how to taste California wines and where to find them, I would say that there are some California wines I love as much as the Italian wines.
Wow.
Yeah, but very specific. For example,
How do you feel about Spanish wines?
I think so. First of all, I can only do so much at a time. So I've only just started to touch Spanish and French wines.
Okay.
I've been very focused on California and Italy. I like to really dive into something and know everything that I can about it as much as I can before I go on. So I haven't left those 2 regions yet. Then I'll go to Spain, France, and then South America.
How often do you get
Portuguese.
to Italy?
Portugal. Once a year at least.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Are you going to go there for the harvest this year?
Yeah. I try to make it between the harvest and the mushroom season.
I know. That's when we're going.
Yeah.
So, because we're going to be out in Europe for a couple months. So we're hoping to run into people and really
we
want
have to
go
figure
for the
out how
harvest.
to make sure we time together.
That sounds good.
Yeah.
Yeah. September, October. Yeah.
So I'll be over in Italy for sure. Yeah.
I won't be, sadly.
I
Why
have.
are you not going to go?
She's gonna.
We're doing other things.
Yeah.
Like
We're
what?
we're doing a road trip in the U.S. and then we're going to Japan. in
Those are
October.
both very exciting. So listen, I'm actually at least not going to do a road trip in the U.S. I want to do a couple of them. So you know what I really want to do is start in Charleston, South Carolina, and drive down to Key West, back up around the west coast of Florida, and out to the Panhandle of
Yep.
Florida. There's just so many beautiful beach towns
Oh, for sure.
along that route.
Yeah.
A lot of them.
When did you become a wine enthusiast?
3 years ago, 2 years ago.
Who said wine enthusiast?
Yeah, about 2 years ago.
That's great.
Enthusiast.
Yeah, enthusiast.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So if I gave you a cheap bottle of wine, you would be able to be like, this is a cheap piece of
100%.
crap. Okay. And why is that? What is it about a cheaper bottle of wine that you notice right away? Is it like the additives or like what is it?
So, first of all, and this is the reason why most California wines are kind of shit wines. No disrespect, but fuck Robert Manavi. I was just kidding. Although he's a shitty winemaker.
Yeah.
It's actually not that he's a shitty winemaker. It's just really bad what Robert Mondavi has done to the wine industry once they went public and became this big monster of a corporation. So what they do is they look for really, really good wines. They buy that wine, that label, that vineyard, and then they take a bunch of shit grapes, mix it in, and keep the same label in the bottle.
Oh.
And or they like cram it with water and sugars and sulfites to speed up the
Yeah.
process, et cetera, et cetera. Do you know what else that happens? What industry that happens in? Puerto Rico coffee. Fun fact.
What? Really?
Yeah. So if you go back in time, let's say to the 1970s, 1980s, and before that, Puerto Rico coffee was considered some of the finest in the world.
Yeah.
So companies like Folgers came down, bought all the Puerto Rico coffee farms, kept the label on, bought up a bunch of the shit beans, packaged it, ground it with Puerto Rico coffee, and then resold it, and helped destroy the industry.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of like Starbucks. You know, Starbucks has like the worst coffee in the world.
It's fucking terrible.
Right. So
Yeah.
think of Mondavi like the Starbucks of wine.
Okay.
And so in California, all the wines are about revenue. How do I take grapes off the vine in 2021 and get people to drink it in 2021? Does that make sense what I just said? You're not even listening.
I'm looking at what Becky's drinking.
I'm
she
experiencing
finished,
my side by. I got rid of.
She finished the California.
Yeah, I got rid of it.
Why did you keep drinking the California if you don't like it?
Because this goes back, and this is terrible. But I have not been able to break this habit
From
yet.
when you were a child.
From
and your
when I was a
dinner.
child.
You have to eat what you dislike.
If it's on your
Yes.
plate, you
No.
have to
Yes.
eat it.
Yeah.
And that's how we were raised. And so it's like I'm 40 years old and I have not been able to break this habit yet. And so it's like if it's given
Yeah.
to you, you like I
Get
hate
rid
to-
of the
I hate
bad
to-
stuff
I-
first
I
and
hate-
save
I-
the best for last.
Yes.
I totally get it. So let me ask you a question. Why did your family tell you you had to eat everything on your plate?
Because there's starving children in Africa.
Africa.
I knew that was going to be the response.
Yes,
I would have given the same
100%.
answer. I was watching this comedian one time, and he said, I mean, it was something to the effect of, I don't know how the fuck me eating everything I hated helped out them starving kids in Africa, but the next time I'm in Africa and I'm over there fat as fuck, I'm going to look at those kids and say, I did this for you. And I have to give credit to the comedian I stole that from.
Yeah.
I don't remember who it was, but it was another.
But it was that comedian.
It's
that
about
guy.
not taking anything for granted. You know, like even if this is just, you know, it's a California wine. I'm sure it's a good bottle of wine, decent, right? Like this is probably a decent bottle of wine. Yes.
I don't know. I don't remember.
Okay, but what I'm saying is like there's
I get
a,
your point, though.
There's a
Yeah.
value here, and I don't want to take that for granted. So I appreciate that you brought that. I finished it.
You know
It
what?
wasn't
I
my
totally
favorite.
understand that, and I'm not going to discount that perspective. Most of us spend most of our life living that way. I've been trying to change my perspective the last couple of years. So let's look at a couple of things, okay? And this, I think, it goes back to the difference of rich dad, poor dad.
Yeah.
Right? So if I spend my time, my palate, whatever it is, on something that doesn't benefit me or make me better or enjoy, then I am giving of myself to something. I'm giving myself away. And so the way I look at it now, I'm like, I don't know, what was it, a $50 bottle of wine for $50? I'm going to be fucking miserable and drink a wine I don't like? Screw
Right.
that. I'll put a cork, call one of my friends, be like, hey, come over for a glass of wine. I'll give him the shitty glass of wine,
And you
I'll open up a good one.
A good bottle.
Why do I have to drink the bad wine? I got plenty of friends for that.
True.
Can I ask you what's the correct way to taste a wine? Like, do you do the
great question.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I've had just enough wine to make me come up with good questions there. Okay. Anyway, you do the little swirly thing first?
So, first of all, I'm a big believer of you taste wine how you want to taste it.
Okay.
Okay, here's the most important.
Spoken
thing
like
about,
a true enthusiast.
About tasting wine,
Yes.
okay? You're at a restaurant, you order a bottle of wine. We've all seen the sommelier or the waiter or waitress brings wine over, they pour a sip for somebody, right, to taste it. Usually the person that ordered it.
Yep.
I like
Okay.
to make those situations really awkward and like go like over the top with it just for fun, just to make the wait staff feel uncomfortable.
Well, let me ask you a question. When you're tasting that sip of wine, do you know what you're tasting for?
Can I guess?
Yes.
I think you're just tasting to see if it's turned.
That's it. That's exactly right.
Right.
So while I know it was humorous, when you're sitting in a restaurant and you see somebody, let me smell and swirl and all this, I immediately know that person doesn't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Because when you order a bottle of wine, you're supposed to know what you ordered. And all you're tasting for is to tell
If it's
whoever
turned.
bought it to you, this is a good bottle. Has it turned?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, most of the time you can get that from a smell even.
You
Like-
can, yeah. I mean, listen, I'm not. If you want to smell it while you're tasting it, just to see did it turn.
But it
great.
doesn't even make sense to do that with a $20 bottle, a $30 bottle. You know what I mean?
I think
Yeah,
it always does.
Well, first of all, to
because-
taste of the turned or not, it always does. Yeah.
Okay.
But here's what I always tell, especially if it's a sommelier when I taste a bottle. Always, it's the same 3 or 4 words every time. There's no bad grapes in this bottle. To answer your question, there's different ways to taste wine based on what you're looking for. As an example, if I were to take, actually, you know what? I'm gonna give you a visual. Hold on one second. So I'm gonna specifically do this with the Italian wine.
Okay.
Okay, so you have an empty glass. I'm gonna take a little bit of wine.
Is this what Sean does?
Yeah, and you let it. Do you let the alcohol burn off?
Yes.
Yeah, that's what he does.
But after, so now in this case, here's the reason I was going to do this. There's a difference between when you swirl a wine. So why am I swirling this wine right now?
Aerate.
Yeah.
No. Clean the glass. Literally,
Clean the
physically
glass.
clean the glass.
Oh.
Wow.
Because when
okay.
you have a clean glass, glass is not perfectly smooth. It has pores in it, right?
Right.
So it came out of your dishwasher. There's little soaps in there, whatnot. So what I'm doing is I'm literally cleaning the glass. And so now I'm either going to take the wine in here, and I'm either just going to throw it away or I'm going to drink it. Now, what was the point of that? Because as you noted, the point of this exercise is I want to see how this wine opens up
Right. Exactly.
from aroma level, right?
Then you really can smell.
So
right.
I want the glass clean. I just want a little bit of wine on the bottom so that it can open up,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, now I'm sitting at the table, chit-chatting with you, and I'm doing this. I'm swirling it for a different reason here.
Checking the leg.
No, I'm just opening it
Aerating.
up. Just aerating. Just
Oh.
opening it up a little bit. That's
Okay.
all. But checking the leg is another one. Like, why would I check the leg? Right. So when you're swirling, somebody says, well, why are you swirling? Or, I like to swirl to taste whatever. If I'm swirling a glass, it's for a particular reason. Is it that I'm cleaning the glass because I want to see how it opens up? Am I checking the legs? Or am I just trying to open the wine up a little bit?
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So when somebody says, like, what's the proper way to taste a wine? Well, what are you tasting it for? What are you drinking it for? You see what I'm saying?
My God, it's just so many questions, and then I'm more or less just like, this is good, and then I drink the glass.
And that's the way it should be.
True.
There should be no rules to wine drinking.
Like I
Yeah.
don't think I have it in me to actually ever be like this, like a connoisseur. Like I just,
But listen,
does it taste good? Okay, I'm gonna drink it.
Listen, first of all, I'm not a connoisseur. The only
He's an
reason
enthusiast.
that I'm an enthusiast, the only reason that I like to know stuff like what I was just talking about,
Yeah.
is because I really appreciate a good Italian wine once it opens up, right? So I want to know, how do you open that up? It's kind of like you meet a woman, you really like her when she opens up.
True.
So I want to know, what do I need to do to get her to open up? Does
So-
that make sense?
Yes.
So if I planned a ladies trip out to California
Yeah.
to do like Napa Valley, like do a ladies trip, we're gonna go drink a bunch of wine.
Don't you want to know what it takes to get me to open up Alicia?
Would it be fun?
Yes.
Romance and
do.
cuddling. She loves to cuddle.
Aww.
I was waiting. I thought you were going to Snap back with that. Well, how do you open up Alicia? She loves to cuddle. She's a cuddler.
How does Eric
What's-
open up?
What's funny is
I don't. I don't.
Booze.
Booze.
I
Wine.
just spent the evening with Alicia just a few nights. Well, yeah, not even a week ago, and she was like, "Oh yeah, Eric's at home cuddling with Arya."
Yeah, I'm a big cuddler.
So,
I-
is it her, or is it you, or is it the two of
It's
you?
both of
The
you.
two of
Yeah,
us.
yeah, yeah.
I
And
like her.
I hate to say it, but we would both admit this today.
Yeah.
We both prefer to cuddle with Arya than each other right now.
Oh.
Yeah. Like, I get so mad when I'm sleeping with Arya and she tries to take it from me. I'm like, babe, we're cuddling. Stop. Yeah.
I look forward to getting to know her better because
She's
you
so
know
awesome.
again I don't like especially when like I don't have any young kids,
Yeah.
so it's there's always that kind of disconnect, but it's like
Yeah, but
she's-
I think
she
that's a
always seems-
fallacy. I know that just happens for some reason. Like parents that have young kids, hang out with parents that have young kids. That's a travesty. It really is.
It really is.
Yeah.
Because recently I went to lunch with a bunch of women who have young kids, so I'm not normally in that.
And it
kind of
turns out
group.
they were normal people,
And
right?
they're normal people. They're
Yeah.
fucking awesome. Love them
Yeah.
all. And I'm like, well, you know what? I would love to see you again. You let me know because I'm more flexible. So you figure it out.
See? There you
like,
go.
let's go to lunch. Let's go to dinner. Whatever.
Yeah. Okay, so I interrupted you.
Yeah.
You were asking if you go to California.
Oh yeah.
Do a
Like-
Napa trip.
Yeah.
Do a
Napa
Napa
trip.
trip.
Is that worth it, or say fuck Napa? You know.
So I wouldn't say fuck Napa, but I wouldn't do a Napa trip. Here's
Okay.
why.
I mean, if I had a choice, I'd go to Italy or Spain or South America or
Or-
anywhere else.
Or actually I'm going to say and.
Argentina.
Hold on, you ladies totally missed the. You know what
Sorry,
you just
sorry.
did? You just asked the question.
Yep, and then we
Should I date men with long hair? And then I just said, well, men with long hair. And then your response was, oh, I knew it. Men are terrible. We're never dating men again. Thank God I'm a lesbian now. Ah.
Oh god.
we are not
You asked me a
lesbians, by
question,
the way.
should you do a Napa tour? I said, well, I wouldn't. And all I said was, well, I wouldn't say fuck Napa, but. And then you girls were like, oh, Spain,
But fuck
Italy,
Napa.
fuck Napa.
So just
No,
no,
just
no, you
kidding.
didn't
I
say fuck
actually-
Napa.
I
You said
actually-
fuck California.
So I've been to Napa and I like Napa.
Listen,
I had some really wonderful wines in Napa.
Listen, Napa's wonderful.
Yeah.
The question posed to me was, is it worth doing a Napa tour? Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to get direct to the answer so we don't have another episode
Yes.
of Fuck Men, okay?
okay.
The wine industry is pushing out of Napa now. Because
Really?
corporate America has bought so much
Oh,
of Napa
true enough.
that most of the
Yeah.
vineyards, their wines have changed.
Yeah.
And so now, if you go to
That's
like
unfortunate.
Paso Robles, or if you come
yeah.
down to the Central Coast, you'll like. I used to drink William
Solving?
Valley wines, huh?
Solving.
I've not heard of this yet.
Paul Giamatti.
Yeah.
Sideways.
Sideways. Yeah.
Sideways.
Sideways, sunshine, it's the same thing.
No,
Yeah,
it's actually
sideways.
not. But I went there. I did that whole area,
Yeah.
and it was such a great experience. We had so much fun.
I'm going to tell you something. The last time I was in California tasting wine, blew my mind. I went to a vineyard in Central Coast, and I had sworn off Pinot Noirs for like 20 years.
Yeah.
I drank this Pinot in California, it blew my fucking mind.
I'm not a
Really?
Pinot fan either, and
Yeah,
Joel
not
likes
either.
it.
Oh my God, I almost bought this wine tonight. In fact, on the way over here, I told my friend Devin Nunes. I know that sounds
My
so
friend-
fucking cheeky
my
to
friend
say.
Devin.
I know.
My friend Devin.
The reason I'm giving him a shout out is because he asked me this question, and he said, are you going to bring some Devin Nunes wines? And I said, I don't have any, but I'm going to bring some of my Toloso.
Oh,
They're Pinot Noir. I'm telling you, I really should have. I knew I should have bought this bottle.
Next time.
It's amazing.
I feel like he's gonna be this like reoccurring character because this is just fun.
Character's a great word for it.
You are.
Okay, I soon have questions for you two.
uh-oh.
If you have a question, ask it. Interrupt us. It's cool.
No, I don't have one question. I have many.
Oh my gosh, really?
Yeah, many questions.
Wow.
Well, we're open books, so you can ask us anything.
Okay.
Skinny dipping through life. Glad I wrote that down.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
There's no bad grapes in this bottle.
There's no bad grapes in this bottle.
Okay,
That
now-
is the title of the show.
Now go
100%.
back and taste the California.
I know I did, and I still don't like it.
I don't like it. There's a weird. I don't like the kind of finish.
I love
It's-
that you don't like it actually, because most people with an uneducated palate will kind of gravitate towards the California.
Oh, so we're okay. So,
We have an elevated palate.
oh my God, that's so cool. I feel like special. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like I'm in the group now.
Yeah.
Like, you know.
You're definitely part of the cool club.
So
Yeah.
cool. Did you ever, like, when you were young and, you know, like, didn't have boatloads of money and you drank, like, boxed wine? Or, like
I
the
am
real...
exceptionally confident
Yeah.
that is a rite of passage for everybody. First
Yes.
of all, when I was young, I didn't even know that there was anything beyond Boone's Farm. And when I
Boone's
found out that
Farm.
you could buy
Boone's.
wine in a box,
What's the first wine you ever drank?
Oh, we have to talk
Boone's
about
Farm.
Boone's Farm. He said Boone's Farm,
Boone's
and I was
Farm.
so hoping
But,
that he
like,
would say that.
Boone's
And
Farm.
What's that's the first wine you ever?
Boone's
Does that
Farm.
count?
Yeah, Boone's Farm.
Does it
Yes,
count
as
it
wine?
counts. Of
what are
course
you
it
talking?
counts.
Of course it counts.
Yeah,
I mean,
and
is
on
that
top of
even
it,
really
do you-
wine?
Do you remember that meme during COVID? It said, "Okay, if you drank Boone's Farm back in the day,
You're fine.
You're fine.
You're fine. You're gonna be
You're
okay."
gonna get through this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
100%.
you know what, though, what's crazy is I remember
I mean, I
fine
drank-
memories
I
of Boone's
drank-
Farm.
I drank
Yeah,
Boone's
so
Farm for
many
sure.
good-
Yeah,
those-
it was great. I'd
Yeah.
put it up against the best of California
I-
cabs.
I
Some
would-
good times.
Good times on
I
the
would
Boone's
never
Farm.
say that Boone's Farm is wine.
What are
Why
you
not?
talking about?
I
It's
don't
wine.
know. It's so.
Wow.
My dad drank Franzia.
I mean, it's
Rhine
not as
wine. He
I mean,
drank
that's not wine either.
it's not as good as Bartles and James.
Oh my god.
The wine cooler. Huh?
So I felt like the first wine I actually really drank was Kendall Jackson.
Of course.
Chardonnay.
Of course, it's every
I was
$4.99 bottle of wine.
Chardonnay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I was when I first started drinking wine, I had to go super sweet. So I was a white Zinfandel girl.
Yeah.
And then I went to Riesling and then Pinot Grigio, Chardonnay, and then I moved up to Reds.
Yeah.
So the Chardonnay, I think anybody that the first time that they liked a Chardonnay, that was when they felt classy. Even if it was a $4.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
it's like,
Absolutely.
I'll have a glass of the Chardonnay, please.
Yeah.
It just sounds
I
so
mean,
fancy.
this would have been like late 90s.
Those
For
were
me.
the days.
Okay, so you're drinking Boone's Farm, you're drinking Chardonnay. Fast forward in life,
Yeah.
what's the first time that you remember as an adult thinking, "Oh, this is wine, not Boone's Farm"?
I have a moment, and
Yeah.
it didn't end well, but it got me on the right path. I was out at this like new like hip bar in Milwaukee, and I had gone to this really fancy dinner, and I had lamb, and I drank Merlot, and it was my first time drinking Merlot.
Sounds delicious.
And it was like, and I was just like, oh my God, this is just clicking with me. I'm like, lamb and Merlot.
Oh my God.
Ooh-wee.
Yummy.
Yes.
I bet Sean got lucky that night.
I didn't know him back then.
Oh.
This is in my 20s, in my early 20s.
Were
And,
you on a date that night? Did the guy get lucky? Did some random guy get lucky?
No, unfortunately not. I didn't even get lucky. Because this was before I knew to not mix because that didn't work for me.
Yeah.
So I moved on to hard liquor
so
after
you
that.
start with a Merlot, the lamb.
It fucked everything up, and
Yeah.
seeing lamb in reverse is never good. So and
TMI, Becs.
then- and
TMI.
I know. I'm sorry.
This is never TMI. So you heave chunk with the lamb?
Oh, believe it. Yeah, absolutely.
Really?
It was awful.
Where
And
did you heave chunk?
the guy,
Was it at your home or where was
No,
it?
it was on the guy who liked me.
So it was on the guy. Okay. See,
On the
now,
guy?
Okay.
No, I didn't do it on the guy.
No.
I went to the bathroom, and I'm a very clean puker. And then afterwards, I'm like, I have to, and he's like, he wanted me to stay. I'm like, I have to
He was at-
go.
you were
because-
at
Okay,
his
I
house?
knew there was something we were missing from this story.
You were at his house?
Exactly.
Oh,
Unpack
God.
this story a
And he
little
wanted
bit
me
further.
to
Oh,
stay.
my
please.
God.
He wanted me to stay.
Okay.
I'm like, no, I cannot
Hold
stay.
on.
I have to brush
What's
my
that sound you
teeth.
make when you're rewinding a tape?
Yeah.
We're gonna rewind this. Okay, you're at dinner. You're
Yeah.
having lamb and Merlot.
Yeah.
Then you
Who's at
moved.
dinner with you?
It was like kind of, it was a girlfriend and then two guys.
A girlfriend and two guys. And
Yeah.
who were the two guys?
I don't know. I
Dates.
don't remember.
Dates.
Dates.
Were they dates?
Yeah.
Okay, so you leave the place where you're having lamb and Merlot.
When we go to his place.
And then you're drinking
hold on,
what?
Hold on, wait a second. I just.
Oh, no.
details are
We
so-
went to a club
Oh,
afterwards. Yeah.
Thank you. You see?
Yes.
Listen, I appreciate this,
Yeah.
but yeah, we're almost letting her skip some important
Yeah,
details.
yeah, we
Because
need
I
to
have
know.
a feeling
We
there's
need to
another
know.
fact
Yeah,
that's going to be very important here.
yeah.
Okay, so we go to this
it was
club.
not good.
Okay,
Yeah.
is it the same four people that go to the club, that were at the dinner.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you arrive at the club with the same 4 people, and what do you drink at the club? Go ahead.
Not Jen. You're
Vodka,
not
vodka martini.
Okay, so you're drinking vodka martinis.
Yeah.
You're at the club.
after drinking
It's
Merlot.
you, your girlfriend, and 2 guys.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay. When you leave the club,
I move on to cognac.
Ooh, God.
you move on to cognac.
And absinthe.
Why?
And
Okay.
absinthe.
And
what
absinthe.
the fuck were you thinking?
Okay, but this is the most important. Listen, this is the most important question of the story.
Okay.
When you leave the club, you walk out the front door, and you get into a vehicle. Who gets in a vehicle with you?
It was everybody.
All 4 of you.
Yeah.
The
Who's
same
who's
4
driving?
people that arrived.
We had a.
Don't say Uber. There was no Uber
No,
back then.
we had a driver. We had
She's like, well, I didn't drink and drive. You see
No.
where I'm going with this?
No, I
Yeah.
swear, no, I did
Yeah,
not.
exactly.
I never
Yeah.
drink and drive. Yeah,
I didn't
we
say
learned
you
that,
did.
We learned that with my
Yeah,
sisters.
yeah.
No,
I didn't say you did.
no, it doesn't matter. I wouldn't get into a car with somebody who's
Okay.
drinking driving.
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
I'm going to give you that one.
Yeah.
Here's actually what I'm trying to figure out. Was it the same guy she threw up on that she went out to dinner
I
with?
didn't throw
Throw
up
up on
on
a
him.
guy.
I threw up in his bathroom.
When I say threw up on him, I don't mean on his body.
Okay.
I mean like the guy was trying to get lucky, get some,
Sure.
and you ended up throwing up on him. Not on him, but
Yeah,
like
But in- at his house.
Yeah.
at his house.
Yeah.
Was it the same guy you started the night with?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm going to need a more affirmative answer, ma'am.
No.
I knew it. I knew it.
What?
I knew it. I knew it. I knew it.
I love the lawyer in you
I
right there. That was
knew it.
amazing.
I can't lie.
You just pulled something out of her
knew
that.
it.
I'm warm. I'm
Wow. Wow.
I knew it. You
Wow,
see now where I was
folks.
going with my question.
Wow, folks. We just had a breakthrough.
Yeah. Okay, so now let's go back and fill in some Quentin Tarantino details, shall we?
warm. We
Okay, so I'm going to ask the question again. When you left the nightclub, was it with the same 4 people you showed up with?
No.
Okay, here we go.
Same girl. Same girlfriend.
Okay.
It was,
Okay,
yeah.
yeah. I'm not. Yeah. Okay. There's
The,
no
the
ju- by
date
way,
we
there's
just
no
we
judgment
did
here.
not feel that the date went very well.
Went very well.
Yeah, and they were. I remember. I think I remember like thinking like they were just. We just didn't have a lot in common.
Yeah.
And
Sure, listen. First of all,
and then we went to a
first of all,
club
there's
after.
nothing
that.
wrong.
we went to a club. after
Listen, there's. Oh, so there was 3 stops along the way.
that.
Did you see how many details we almost
Yeah.
skipped over?
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
I'm
like
so
a giddy,
glad you're here.
such a giddy kid right now.
This
Oh
is
my gosh.
this is
Okay.
this is
So we have successfully transitioned into the Becky Inquisition.
You see, by the end of the
I
night,
know.
we're going to know who's the Italian bottle and,
Yeah.
and who's the California bottle.
Italiano.
This is going to be a 3-part series.
Yeah. Okay. So you're at club number 2,
Yeah, Aqua.
Aqua.
Yeah.
And you show up with your girlfriend
Yeah.
at club
And
number
the
2.
dudes or the dudes
no,
are
the
gone?
dudes are
No,
gone. They
the
ditched
dudes are gone.
Okay, the
We
dudes
did-
are gone.
we did-
You
we
did
did
dinner
ditch the
and then
dudes.
you're
Yeah.
done.
Yep.
We did
Cool.
to do
Okay.
Dinner, ditch the dudes, club number 3.
Oh my god.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So you show up at club number 3. Mm-hmm. If you wouldn't mind, curious how you met the second guy of the night
At the bar.
at the bar.
We were
Okay.
ordering drinks at the same time, and
Which, by the way,
and he
wasn't
was
the second guy of the night.
and
She
he
had a
was
couple of
he was cute.
Of course
He was
she did.
really cute. And the thing is like I had enough booze in me to actually, because I back in the day had zero confidence in myself, and so
We're going to touch on that in a minute.
I'd go up to the bar and I had just enough of booze in myself to actually be somewhat charming, I think. And
You are always charming. What are you
I know,
talking
she's
about?
yeah,
crazy.
no, you didn't know me back
That's-
then. Anyway, this is the girl who like didn't have dates in school. Like I
Sure. I never went on
never
a date
got
once
asked.
in high
Never
school.
got asked out. So it.
You think you're the only one?
No, of course
You
not.
want to know how my first date in high school went? I walked into a vice principal's office because I was starting up an international young business club the young person business club.
Uh-huh.
And I walked into his office. I sat down with this paperwork on my lap, and I asked him some question about some international. How do I connect with somebody? Just thinking in my head. And he looks at me and he says, "Who are you going to the prom with?" Exactly. I'm like, "What?" He says, "That's what I thought. You're not going with anybody, are you? Come with me." He stands up, brings me out in the hallway, takes me down to Miss Shelley's English class, opens up the door. "Miss Shelley, I need to see Leah Staten, please." Brings Leah Staten out, says, "Eric Swider, this is Leah Staten. Leah Staten, this is Eric Swider. He would like to ask you to the prom." He turns around and walks away.
Real quick, did you tell
What?
him about her, or did he just picked a random chick?
No, as it turns out, her father went to him and said, I would like to introduce my daughter to Eric Swider.
Oh,
It was one of the biggest compliments ever in my life.
oh wow,
Wow.
Her father was a
Who
president
were
of a local
you
bank.
in school?
It's a great story. I'll tell in a minute. Yeah.
Yes.
So at
I'm
this.
so glad I got the heat off of me.
Oh,
Oh,
no,
it's
no, no.
coming back.
Oh,
It's
yeah, we're coming
coming
back.
back.
Yeah. The
Oh,
whole point of
I
this
mean, good try.
little
Good try. Good
sideshow
try.
was just to let you understand that we all, that not all of us were dating everything in high school. It doesn't mean we're not impressive people.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean that we don't have a lot to offer. It doesn't mean that we're not beautiful people.
Yeah.
So, you've always been charming. You've always been beautiful. You've always been an amazing person.
Aww.
It just because you didn't date somebody
Does he know
Know what?
that she's amazing. Of course,
words
I
of affirmation are her?
Oh yeah,
love
that's
language?
my love language. You say nice
You-
things to me. It
you've
makes
just, like-
me super happy.
Oh.
You've made her so happy.
All you have to do is just say nice
you remember
things to me.
I started this podcast by saying, "Apologizing to your husbands,"
Yeah.
because you're going to go home and say, "Why,
Yeah,
why
yeah,
can't
yeah.
you be more like Eric?" It didn't mean I was going to say something sexual or seductive. So anyway, you're in the second club. You meet this guy.
Oh, we're back to that.
Of course, we are.
Told you.
And,
Yeah.
and
We're done.
I mean, granted, this is what, maybe a little later in the evening, 11. I mean, I don't even know. He's been drinking too,
Yeah.
and he was with a friend of his,
Okay.
and so we all just we're
Okay, ma'am, hold on a second. As
Okay.
much as I know you want to tell a story, I'm just asking questions, looking for answers. Okay.
Okay.
So at your club, you meet this guy.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
At
at
the
your
bar,
club, you're at the
ordering
bar,
drinks.
you're having drinks. Here's what I'm curious about. At what point, what happened at the moment that in your mind you thought to yourself, this guy's getting ready to get lucky?
So actually, no.
Well, somehow you ended up in his house, showing up in his bathroom.
Well, because my friend was easy, and I was not.
Blame it on the friend.
No, this is no, this is.
Well, you have
this
to
is-
understand, my friend's a slut.
This is a very
But
true.
Actually,
So my
I do believe this.
So my friend,
because I know her.
Yeah, so my friend,
And-
it was easy, and I was more or less like, I don't just sleep with guys,
Why is that bad?
And
No,
she
because
would,
she
would also still support a friend. She would go
100%.
with a
What are you
friend.
She just threw her friend on the bus. She just called her friend a slut.
No, she was easy.
said
She was easy. She was
the
easy.
friend would probably
Oh.
admit that.
She was easy. Oh, 100%. All
Okay.
the guys
But
always
I'm
went after
saying
her
that-
because she
fair
was
enough,
easy.
fair enough.
Becs would
I eat my words. Fair
100%
enough.
support a friend and go like,
Oh,
Yeah.
I see what
Be
you're
the
saying.
lead
You
I
do.
see, I see
you,
what you're saying.
Yes,
yeah.
I am that friend. So I'm like, you always have a buddy. Your friend's going to
The bathroom?
a car
Okay,
parking
this-
lot,
bathroom
Yeah.
at the hotel.
parking lot.
Whoa, the
parking
bathroom
lot.
at the hotel.
You
Parking lot.
always
This
take
is
a buddy.
such a great conversation because it's going to feed right into the line of questions I have.
Keep them coming.
We haven't started yet.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So you meet this guy. Your friend wants to get hooked up.
Yeah.
She's like, "Hey, girl, need a wing, girl." You're like, "I'm there for you."
Yeah.
Get to this guy's apartment.
And it's just bonus that I thought he was cute too. The other
Yeah,
friend.
I
Okay,
mean,
that's what I was
yeah.
trying to make the connection. Okay, so you think he's kind of cute? Hey, maybe one
But
day.
I also
oh,
had,
I
but,
could,
I,
like,
but
maybe
back
have
then
some
I also had
kisses
zero
or-
confidence. Zero confidence. So I'm like, you probably won't like me. you
Okay,
know,
I got
whatever.
you. Which is
Yeah.
a whole different topic we'll have to address, which is insanely frustrating here when you talk like that.
Well, yeah.
So, but pin in that, you get this guy back. Your friend gets this guy back to a place where she's going to get lucky. He's going to get lucky.
Mm-hmm.
You're being a good girlfriend, supporting this guy. You're sitting on the couch. Like, okay, so now just to wrap the story up, here's what I'm curious about. You walk in the front. There's four of you. You walk in the front door. Take the other two out of the picture. I assume they go off somewhere and do their thing.
yeah.
Do you two like sit down on the couch and start to watch Netflix and you're like, oh,
No.
excuse me?
There's no Netflix.
There was no
I know
Netflix
that.
back then.
It's just so
No,
pushing
so
up.
A movie.
he was
Yeah.
pretty. He was like well
Put on some
traveled. He was
music.
well traveled, and he had like a legit bottle of like absinthe, and so I was
Where
like
did he get that?
I
Like
don't even.
Paris?
I don't know.
Moulin
Yeah,
Rouge?
Yeah. So yeah.
I
Okay.
forgot she bought up the absinthe.
It gets deeper.
Right?
It gets deeper. And it was like it was one of those things. I think I had just watched like the movie like Euro Trip or something
Was
like
it
that.
green?
And it was I can't remember the bottle.
Like glowy green?
No. But
Absinthe is
but
green, right?
I was
Yeah. I think it
just
is.
drunk enough to be like, I want to see the Green Fairy, And so yeah, I'll do some absinthe, and I'm like,
Wow.
that's legal, right? And then so we do like a shot of it, and And then soon after that, I was in the bathroom, like just throwing up
Just
everything
hurling
from the
everything,
night.
yeah.
Everything from the night.
Wow.
I mean, I just have to say, at least you were in the bathroom.
Yeah.
I know.
Was he
Look,
good, nice, and respectful to you? Did he help you out, hold your
he
hair?
was great. He was really great. I just was so embarrassed that I'm like never seeing you again. Yeah.
That totally makes sense.
Yeah.
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 That's
Wait,
why
he was
yeah.
with you in the bathroom?
No.
Oh,
but
he-
I
but
went
he
to the
knew.
bathroom. He obviously knew I was
Yeah,
fucking hurling.
So
You know.
a guy that was supportive of you at one of your most vulnerable moments, your conclusion is that's great. I never want to see you again.
I was super embarrassed.
No, I totally get it. That
Yeah.
makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
That girl opens up like a fine bottle of wine, sweetheart.
He tested us, and this is how he needed to do it. We didn't know what he was up to until holy shit balls. I am an open book. Ask
You have
me
more to
anything.
hide, just like a California mid-grade cab's got to hide all that shit inside of its oak.
This was all part of the test.
You have to admit,
Wow.
that was pretty fun.
Wow, I got to give you a clap.
Huh? That was awesome. Hey, how'd you like that? The whole thing about knowing that she went home with a different man than she went
I know
out with.
that's the lawyer in you, I think.
But
Well, you know I'm not a lawyer though.
But you
I've never been to college. So much to know about me. You don't even.
what?
You didn't know I've never been to college?
No.
The only time I went to college was to
Did
chase
I know
women.
this?
I did. But that's why I was really confused. I just let it go because I'm like, maybe I'm missing something. I'm like, lawyer, what?
I'm not a lawyer. I've never
Yeah.
been to
No,
college.
I thought that was why you were
I do legal
CEO
strategies for
of-
attorneys. No.
Okay. So,
So
maybe
like
that's
some
why
of
I
like
thought.
my last client before I did TMTG DWAC, multinational, I was in charge of doing their global legal strategies.
Okay.
They were in litigation all over the world. Their attorneys didn't know what the fuck they were doing.
But so how do you do that and not be a lawyer?
Listen, most attorneys were 1 6-pack away from fucking being a dishwasher at Shoney's.
Okay.
Okay?
Wow.
So that's just truth. That's reality.
Yeah.
100%.
I feel like this is a good question for you. Can you remember a time you tried to impress someone and it went spectacularly wrong?
I don't have a big desire, never have in my life, to try to be something I'm not or impress
Have
somebody.
you always been this Eric?
No. I've gone through. When I was younger, I was exceptionally shy, quiet, and skinny.
Mm-hmm.
My dad thought there was something wrong with me. Grew up very poor, and in Vermont, we were probably the poorest family in the town we were in. And we moved to South Carolina. I was exceptionally shy. Nobody knew me. Nobody liked me. That's the way I thought. And so when I moved to South Carolina, I remember, I'll never forget this day. Sat on the airplane. First time, obviously, I'd ever been on an airplane. I was by myself, and it was a window seat. And I remember as I fell asleep on the airplane and we were about to take off, I said, when we land in South Carolina, I'm going to be a different person. I'm going to be well-liked. Everybody's going to love me. I'm going to be popular. And so we went to South Carolina. We moved to South Carolina, went to high school. And I was a sophomore in high school when we went there. And so right out of the gate, I started to meet people. And in the South, football is very big. School spirit's very big. So I said, I want to be the student body president. So I went in, I signed up. I want to run for student body president. And it was at the end of my first year there. So going into my junior year, I want to be student body president. And like a week or two later, I get a notice I got to come down to the counselor's office. He says, listen, we have a rule here that you can't run for student body president until you get to your second year. My response was, that's fine. I'll run for student body vice president. And I turned around, I walked out of the room before he could even say anything. I didn't even think about why he had said that to me. So I'll never forget this. When I was, you have to give a speech. So my whole speech was, you should vote for me because I think it was basically like, I'm going to do something that no one else can do. And when I was giving this speech, there was scores of kids in the stands with T-shirts that said Eric Swider. I don't know how I did it.
What?
But I had literally hundreds of kids in this 2,000 student body school wearing Eric Swider T-shirts, signs everywhere. And after I found out I won,
How long had you been there?
less than a year. And listen, if you go to a big South Carolina high school in the South, football,
Yeah.
You understand? Like, this is a huge deal.
How many
Yeah.
people were in the school
2,000.
total? Okay.
And so,
So in your class, or is it
this
by
only
class?
four,
or?
4 years, so it's a high school. So it's probably 500 kids per class.
Okay.
And I'm running for student body, so all 2,000
So
people vote. Everybody votes.
Okay.
You have to do 4 speeches
Okay.
in the day.
Okay.
And so after I won the election, for months, like, people would come up to me and they would say, well, what is it that is different about you? I said, I have no fucking idea. I made it up while I was sitting there in the chair waiting to, go up to get the microphone. Like, I literally was making up as I went to this. So eventually the student counselor gentleman calls me in his office, the one that told me I couldn't run for president. And he said, listen, we have no rule about running for student body president. He said, I told you you couldn't run because you had just moved here, and I felt so bad for you.
There was no way that you were gonna.
There was no way you were going to
make
win.
it.
Oh, wow.
He said, you won by the biggest landslide of student body election the school has ever seen.
That's amazing.
High five.
Holy
Yeah.
shirt
That's
balls.
amazing.
Yeah. So the reason I tell that story is because I never forget that moment. I fell asleep on that airplane next to that window and said, when I land in South Carolina, I'm going to be a different person. I'm going to be popular. Like, everyone's going to like me. And so now you go to this story. When you asked me earlier, who were you in high school? The president of Conway National Bank, the town I went to high school in, called one of the principals of the school and said, I would like this guy, Eric Swider, I've heard about, to take my daughter to prom. Could you introduce them? And that's why he introduced me to Leah Staten in the hall that day.
Wow.
Wow.
This entire
went-
conversation has come full circle. And
full
I
circle.
love this so much.
I love this so much.
So that's how I got my first and only date in high school. Well, I should say my first and only.
Did you not go out with her again?
No, it was the most miserable date I've ever been on.
Oh no.
She was such a prude, so boring.
He was really just trying to get his daughter like.
Yeah, I was.
Was she at least cute?
Nah.
That's sad.
I was when I was in high school. I had been given a scholarship to South Carolina Boys State to go to the Naval Academy, another program to go to the Naval Academy for summer. I had an appointment to the Naval Academy. I was pretty well known in the business community as when I was in high school, and so this guy wanted me to take his daughter to the prom. Terrible mismatch. Now, total side note. The first crush I had was on this girl. I think her name was Sherry. It was at a fast casual restaurant.
Oh, Sherry.
Yeah. I tried to have sex with her on the cornmeal bags. But I
tried.
I was so
I'm
I'd
sorry,
never had
but
sex
what-
before.
Hold on. What was your first move? I need to know.
Listen, as a guy, it just, like, you don't even know. You know what I mean? You're just like, oh my God, there's a woman that's gonna let me touch her. Ah, you know. And so, I didn't have sex till way after high school.
Yeah.
But that was my first attempt at, I'm going to try to have sex. I had 2 failed attempts. This one and then one right.
How did they fail? Like, what did she do?
Well, the first one, it failed because we were in the back room of a fast casual restaurant trying to have sex during operating hours when we were both supposed to be working.
Oh.
Oops.
Yeah. So,
Nice try.
Okay.
yeah. Like, now I could pull a quickie off real quick. Right? I get Alicia in the back room. I'm like, babe, let's bang one out. Boom, boom. We're out of there. No one even knows. No one's the wiser.
Right.
But the
Right.
first time you're ever trying to have sex, you have no idea. You don't even know what hole you're going to put it in yet. Right? Because I'm just
A lot of pressure on the
a lot of
dudes.
pressure. Yeah. So the second
We just
failed,
have to lay there.
Pretty much.
Yeah. Anyway, trying to knock boots with this girl. Couldn't figure out how to get it in.
Oh no! Oh, bad.
Well, I don't know if it's because, like, well, look, we're like both like 19.
Oh my god!
like-
I can see this.
Yeah.
It's so
Oh.
awkward. It's so awkward.
And what's
Why are
really-
you picturing it?
What's really bad about it's a group of girls that are on spring break, like 3 or 4 sleeping in a hotel room.
Oh,
I had
yeah.
a whole point to the story of how you get there, but since you didn't want to hear it,
I want to hear it. I want to hear it. I want to hear it.
Okay, when you answer the phone at Domino's when you're 18 years old, 19, what you learn is if in Myrtle Beach, if it's a young woman calling in, you say, okay, I already know she's probably with girlfriends staying alone at a condo. Okay, oh, and I swear to God, we would do this. We would take their order. Say, okay, where are you staying? Okay, perfect. And you're here with how many guests? 4. Okay. And you're all female? Okay, great. Between the ages of 18 to 22. And every now and then they would say, like, why do you need to know that? And I'm like, well, it's just a demographic. Like, we're just for a survey. Oh, okay. So now we knew as the drivers, like the 6 guys that worked there, if the answers were yes, 3 women, however, it's all women, young women staying together, we would fight over who's going to get the route.
Okay.
So if you were the guy that got the call, you would never let them know. You're like, I'm taking that pizza, right? So then you would show up, and then you could start drinking beer with the girls that you bought a pizza to.
Yeah.
So I'm in the hotel room, 3 or 4 girls there.
Yeah.
There were some guys that they had met around the strip, and I end up hitting it off with this one. So now who knows, maybe it's 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 2, whatever it is. So I'm trying to hook up with this girl in the bed. I think there's 2 other girls in the bed next to me. We're all like 18, like they're sleeping. But when you're 18, you're like, oh my God, there's a girl that's willing to let me do something. But I was so young and green, like I literally couldn't figure it out. Didn't know where to put it.
Where did you put it?
Back in my pants. Yeah.
Oh,
So I
God.
never actually had sex until well after high school. I had 2 failed attempts in high school. Fail. Wah,
Solid try.
But you know what? Yeah, I got an A for effort, Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh.
Meanwhile, Eric,
well. Look who it is.
is.
Here to interrupt tawdry time. No,
This is
just
after
segment.
hours.
Tune in next.
Joel, is
tune
it
in
just me
next
or are these
week.
ladies giving you a headache?
Tune in next
I
week.
can't even hear you. Exactly. I feel exactly.
Tune in next week.
Oh my God.
For the
Yeah,
continuation of
Do
the
you feel like
Eric
you just
Swider
went home?
Chronicles.